Tony D and Little Joan, and this is a screenwriter's rant on Mustafa the Lion King. I have zero interest in this, but people seem to hate this trailer, and I just watched it, and I'm not exactly sure why the hate's there. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 14, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Now, don't get me wrong. I have zero interest in The Lion King. Like, maybe the original cartoon, but yeah, this is way blown over. I mean, but all this stuff is. Like, a live action cartoon? No. From Academy Award winner Barry Jenkins. Okay. I mean, I don't know who. I assume this would be for the same audience. It's just about animals, and then it's a prequel to The Lion King. So this is Mustafa, right? His dad. So we get to hear his whole story. He was the dad, right? He wasn't the guy. He wasn't Scar. No, Mustafa was the dad. So this is all about the dad, and then you've got all these people doing the voices. Aaron Pierre, don't know him. Kelvin Harrison Jr., don't know him. John Connie, don't really know him. Seth Rogen? What? Billy Eichner? What? That's bizarre. Those two casting choice, very bizarre. Donald Glover. Not sure why. Mads Mikkelsen. Now, he's a really good actor. I guess, this is his money. This is his big payday. Like, I assume he plays the villain. And then Thandie Newton. Okay. But again, why are you hiring all these high-profile Hollywood types and introducing Blue Ivy Carter? That's Beyonce's daughter, right? Blue Ivy, I think. With Beyonce Knowles Carter. So, and Beyonce's going to be in it. I assume she does a song with original songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Okay, this is the Hamilton guy who I believe did the music for Woke Side Story, if I'm not mistaken. So December 20th. I mean, you couldn't pay me to go see this, of course, but I don't understand the hate. Like I don't understand that this is what it is. Like, I hate it. I think it's boring and stupid. I don't want to see a musical with animals, which looks like the same exact thing as The Lion King, only slightly different. But, like, the people who like this, who watch the live-action Lion King, I don't remember them voting down the trailer, so what is happening? Are people just turning against Disney? Maybe that's it. This is the problem with doing it as a live action, I don't know, CGI or whatever. It looks too real. Like, your eye, like if this was a cartoon, Mustafa and the baboon guy would pop because you would design it so it would pop. And the background would be probably more solid green. Maybe they'd be in the jungle, and then the characters would pop, or you'd put black lines around them so they would pop. Here, they kind of almost blend into the background, and what am I looking at? I don't know what to look at. I sort of looking at Mustafa's face. That pops the most, and the monkey kind of just, this is a nice shot, but like, there's no human eyes here, right? If you were going to do this as an animation, you probably wouldn't draw his eyes like this. You probably wouldn't draw him so realistic. You would give him more human features so he'd be more relatable. Here, I'm like, baboon. Don't want to see this. That's the part of the problem. It kind of takes you out of the story. And then, what the hell is the story? Oh, you are destined to become king of the jungle. Well, isn't that all the lions? I mean, the lions are the king of the jungle because they're the apex predators, and they don't rule the other animals really. It's like a joke, but and then It just looks like more of the same. You know? Just the animals interacting, and there'll be songs and singing. Will the animals sing? That'll be weird. I don't think so, but maybe. But Mustafa lives at the end, I assume, and maybe his father's killed, and he has to do the same thing the Lion King did. But does Disney really think this is going to be a hit? Is this something people sat around and went, yes? Right? Is this something you'd sit around and go, yes? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. This is, fans, I get letters every day from fans saying, when are you going to do that prequel to the Lion King movie? Like, Hollywood seems to be so far removed from their audience. And again, you know, I looked in Hollywoke Hot Take today, we looked at an article about essentially the infiltration of Hollywood by the Chinese, the CCP. And there have been articles like this in the past, that they're infiltrating and influencing things. Not just in Hollywood, but Hollywood is, you know, top of the list of the things that the CCP wants to target, because by targeting Hollywood, they can influence opinions, they can influence everything, just like Hollywood tries to do. But they're so ham-fisted at it now. They're so disconnected from their audience, they're losing everything. And this seems to be yet another misfire. It's like, why would you do this? Maybe a sequel? Maybe? But a prequel, like, again, like, prequels, first off, they're never good, number one. Never good. Name a prequel that's good. I say none of them. Number two, people tend to want to go forward, not back. You know, and now in some cases, you have no choice, like the characters are dead, and then you want to use the characters again, maybe. But even that, not a good idea. You also could have just done a different story. You could have done another jungle story and completely changed it up. Done another story about a different savannah and a different jungle. And then later you could say, well, we've decided that the Lion King and this new lion, they're buddies, they're cousins, and then they meet. Now we're going to do a crossover. Instead, you're committed by doing a prequel to tee up whatever comes after, so it undermines whatever surprise you might have. Like if you did a new movie, you know, at least initially completely independent of the Lion King, you could do whatever you want. You wouldn't have to do all this music and whatnot. You could still make it very similar, and people would just say, oh, it's another Lion King. But, you know, how could you distinguish it? I'm sure you could. You could say, well, it's the Lion King set in the modern day, or it's the Lion King, you know, but it's got more music, and there's more dancing. I don't know. You could figure out a way to do it. Here, you're just like, you're teeing yourself up for failure, because the first thing people are going to do is compare it to the Lion King, which is considered a classic for a lot of people who love it. Not me, but I mean, it's all right. But to do a prequel with the similar character, you could see the results. 81,000 down votes, 55,000 up votes. That is a disaster. And the movie hasn't even come out yet. So what are you doing? Why greenlight this? It must have cost you a fortune to make this. Between the talent and the animation, I don't see why even do this. You could have freed yourself from the Lion King, made a separate movie, and then maybe made allusions to the characters in the Lion King, and then tease that, you know, if this does well, maybe we'll have a crossover or whatever. People would have been like, ooh, that could be interesting, right? Because you don't know what would happen, because this would be a different dynamic, and the Lion King is his own dynamic. Instead, they're so hyper-focused, I think, on the IP of Mustafa, which they already own. They go back in time, well, we own Mustafa already, we don't have to pay people again for certain things, and people know what we're talking about. But you could have just called the movie The Lion King, Part 2. The Lion King, The Next Generation, The Lion King, The Next Chapter, The Lion King, Madagascar, or whatever. You could have separated from the old Lion King. You could have called it, I don't know, Lions on Parade. I don't know, something else. And just made it. And allow the comparisons to happen. Because you want those comparisons for a new movie. But this forces the comparison on the old movie and this movie. And it has to live up to that. A new movie wouldn't have to live up to The Lion King. It would be like, well, it didn't live up to The Lion King, but few things do, maybe in a few years. People would be more forgiving of it. They will not be forgiving of this. Obviously. So what's the breakdown? It looks virtually the same thing as The Lion King. First act, a new lion is born, and he is destined to be the king. Okay. Second act, he's a young lion doing his thing, and looks like his father's betrayed and horribly murdered by some of the other animals, I guess, and then he has to take back the crown, and you get to see some of the other characters while they're young, and he wins, and we all know that because he's the father of the Lion King, which happens in the next movie. So you're just teeing this up to like, okay, yeah, no, this will go good with your other Lion King movie, and then we're going to sell you that again. I guess. Yeah, I wouldn't have greenlit this. I would have said, no, do a new movie. But again, this is Hollywood. They cannot seem to wean themselves into anything new because, again, I don't think they have any writing talent whatsoever. They're so woke. They're so consumed by everything that's not the movie. Who would take a chance? What writer could be brought in that anybody would listen to? There's not a single writer in Hollywood that anybody will listen to anymore. It would have to be a guy whose name was so associated and so big. Like, it would have to be Stephen King. Like, Stephen King's the only name that comes to mind, right? But like, he's a horror guy, so they wouldn't pick him. Or maybe Neil Gaiman. But he would have to have that big of a name that, okay, we can't question Stephen King. J.K. Rowling, maybe. I mean, this is kind of a little closer to Harry Potter because it's young characters learning. I know it's not magic, but at least it's a similar audience. But they wouldn't pick her because of, again, all these politics and woke stuff. People have a nervous breakdown. Oh my God, you're giving it to her? So who are you going to bring? Well, Hollywood, they're going to say, well, we got to bring in a famous writer of color. And now you're like in a completely different category, right? You're not picking the best person. Well, you got to pick the best person out who's a DEI pick, who might be good, but... And then if they're not good, then you're stuck with them, and then what do you do? Just ask the White House about KJP. So... this is a lose-lose situation for Disney, especially now. Now, essentially, the project's dead. Essentially. Will people still go see it? Oh, yeah, there are people who go take their kids to anything. Oh, it's a kids' movie, it's Disney. I'm completely tuned out. I don't care. Let's go. Oh, you want to go see it? Okay, we'll take it. I mean, this will be, I assume the commercials will be all over ABC. So there'll be enough there to probably make it work. But will it work? I doubt it. I doubt it'll roll into a hit because you kind of upset the old fans who would have been your primary guys. If you had made a new movie about the current Lion King, or he's old and he has a son or whatever, people would have went cuckoo bananas. Maybe. But then again, you're not doing animation. You're doing this. Again, look at the color scheme. He kind of pops in this shot, but if it was a cartoon, there'd be no question. He would absolutely pop in a cartoon. Could be 2D animation, who cares? If it just looks like the Lion King, that nostalgia alone is worth it. It'll bring everybody back to the theaters. And then you hire Lin-Manuel and Beyonce. Beyonce fans are going to come to The Lion King? Maybe. Lin-Manuel, the Hamilton fans are going to come to The Lion King? They didn't go to a Woke Side Story. So that was him, right? I'm almost sure. So it seems like a bad move all around. Anyhow, let's read the write-up. Lion who would change our lives forever. It's a bit much. Oh my God, look at all this stuff. The Lion King, Mustafa the Lion King enlists Rafiki to relay the legend of Mufasa to a young lion cub, Kiara, daughter of Simba and Nala. Oh, okay, so they're in it too, with Timon and Pumbaa lending their signature shtick. Told in flashback, the story introduces Mustafa as an orphan cub, lost and alone. He meets a sympathetic lion named Taka, the heir to the royal bloodline. The chance meeting sets in motion an expansive journey of extraordinary group of misfits searching for their destiny. Their bonds will be tested as they work together to evade a threatening and deadly foe. I assume the hyenas. So there's even more people, but like Seth Rogen, Billy Eichner, that's a weird casting choice, I think. So, all right. I guess you're going to do this. This is Disney now, or is it Disney Plus? It might even be Disney Plus. Is it? It might be. I'm going to just play it without sound. Without sound. Yeah, Disney. Oh, it's from Disney, so it's not Disney Plus. And I don't get the Arctic scene. Is this supposed to be in the Ice Age? I don't know. So it's Disney being Disney, I guess. And that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. If you can find a more base take, I say take it. I will be at the Jersey Devil Fest May 4th, Saturday. I think it's from 10 to 4, out in Asbury Park. I don't think there's going to be rain. There's supposed to be rain Sunday, but I don't think there's going to be any on Saturday. So don't want to catch the rain. Hope to see you there. We'll see you.